Good morning. For those of you who don't know, my name is Maya Karen. I run a fashion blog called Classically Kept. It does feature luxury, contemporary, and how to style and now natural hair care. So if you were into any of those things, please consider subscribing to my channel. Click the notification bell. That way you will never miss a video. So we already talked about fall trends. I will link that video down below. But today we are going to talk about fall essential classics or staples in your closet, okay? I do have 13 pieces, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing before we get into the actual pieces, when it comes to fall, that is subjective. And what I mean by that is, you guys know that I live in the Carolinas. For the past 3 games, Aiden's games start at 7:30. 8 o'clock, it's still 85, 90, 95 degrees outside and the sun is down, right? That's here in the Carolinas. Fashion Week is going on, or Fashion Month is going on right now. For whatever reason, New York is having a heat wave and they're experiencing the same thing. But this is when you start to see like Seattle, the New England states, the Midwest, when their weather starts to change, they could at this point already be getting the 32, the 40 degree, the 50 degree weather, and maybe some snow, right? So when I'm talking about these fall pieces, they are going to be relative, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I get into some of the pieces. Like for instance, when I give an example, you might have one option that's a little bit lighter or one that's a little bit heavier, because someone who is experiencing fall in the Midwest is going to have a cooler temperature than someone right here in the Carolinas, okay? So just keep that in mind. The other thing I want you to keep in mind is that, again, classics or essentials or staples in your wardrobe can mean different things to different people, and I will explain what I mean when I get into some of the pieces, okay? But this is just your streamlined classic if you love classic fashion, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. The first one, number 1, which I'm so excited because it is on trend, is going to be a sweater dress. Whether it's your quintessential sweater dress, it comes in white, winter white, brown, cognac, it doesn't really matter. So I do have an example for you guys, and it is going to be my newest sweater dress. And this is actually from Amazon. I was on there the other day looking for athleisure wear, looking for tennis skirts for Aiden's games. You guys know that I'm trying to get my athleisure game up, especially with it being his starting year. We are doing a lot more, not social, but we are doing a lot more sports events, and a lot of the things that I wear, or the majority of my wardrobe, is not athleisure wear. It's just not, right? But anyway, this is the sweater dress right here. I bought this because of the color. For some reason, I'm not too much into navy, but like I love cerulean blue, but like this softer kind of pastel yet deeper blue is really speaking to me. You guys know that I do have one other sweater dress. I do have some earrings that go with this, and then I do also have like a very beautiful, it's brighter, but it will still go with this, a very beautiful coat from J. Crew. But it is just this right here. It does have buttons. Here's the tie. It ties at the waist, and this is midi length. You guys know that I will also be doing some styling with this video, but I love this, and if anything is available, I will link it down below. But it's just going to be a sweater dress. The sweater dress could be short sleeve, it could be long sleeve, it could be 3/4 sleeve, it could be sleeveless, because then you can start getting into layering. It can even have a turtleneck, okay? Now, not so much the color, but just the shape of the sweater dress is classic, right? If you don't have a sweater dress, what I would say to you is to start with the neutral colors, the classic colors, like I said. The winter whites, the blacks, the browns, the navy, maybe even red, your tans, your beige, your pale pink. Okay, the next closet essential for fall is going to be a trench coat. And this is going to be one of the ones that I say is relative, because here again, this morning I think it was 75, so you really didn't need a coat. But probably come mid-October, maybe in the morning, it's going to be like 60, 65 here. Then during the afternoon, it'll be about 85 still. And then when the sun goes down, it'll be a little bit cooler. So for someone like me here in the Carolinas, right now for fall, my trench coat is going to be of a very light material. Again, as opposed to somebody who might be in New England, who might be in Seattle, or who might be in the Midwest, right? I was going to show you guys my classic Club Monaco trench coat. You guys know that we had been dealing with an insurance claim. What I did not realize is that when I was picking out and doing all of the styling is that when it came to the contractor with them sanding the floor, The sand or whatever they were using got everywhere, and I actually think the coat might be damaged. I will take it to, or destroyed. I will take it to the tailor and see, or the cleaner to see what can happen, but it's just so dusty. I'm not going to show it to you, but mine is green. It's from Club Monaco. It's of a heavier material. It hits right at the knee. It's light, it's dark green, and it's also waterproof, right? But when it just comes to like your classic trench coat, of course, you have Burberry, you have London Fog, you have ASOS, you have J. Crew, you have Banana Republic, you have COS, you have Max Mara. You have all of these brands that do very beautiful trench coats. If you don't have one in your closet, again, what I would say to you, because we're talking about classic pieces, right? Start with your tan, start with your cognac, start with your beiges, and then you can even do a black, and then you can move into different colors, right? But the second one is going to be a trench coat. The third fall essential is going to be a turtleneck. You guys know I have this conversation every single time, or I say this every single time it is brought up. I don't care what anybody says, but turtlenecks are sexy, not to mention that they keep me so warm and so cozy. And depending on the material and how light or how heavy it is, more so when you're talking about your tissue t-shirt or your tissue turtleneck, it can be used as a layering piece, okay? When it comes to fall, especially when you start getting into that hot, cold, cold in the morning, hot, in the afternoon, and cold when it's time for you to go back home from work, layering is going to be your friend when it comes to fall, okay? But yes, turtlenecks, which happen to be on trend for fall 2023, right? So the very first one that I want to show to you is more of an affordable option. This is this is not from J. Crew. This is from Target. This is more of a tissue consistency, but I bought it because of the color, okay? So this is something that you would definitely be able to layer under your trench coat, okay? And then the next one, of course, is going to be from J. Crew. This is definitely more of a heavier material, and this also has cashmere in it, okay? This one, I believe, was around $198. The Target one, I believe, was like $30, okay? So you're going to have turtlenecks that run the gamut, right? You're going to have the tissue turtlenecks. You're going to have the thick ones. You're going to have the extra thick ones. You're going to have viscose. You're going to have cotton. You might even have a wool blend. You might have wool. You might have cashmere, just depending on, where you buy it from and what you are looking for. But I love turtlenecks, as I've said before. It's a way to be covered but still be classic and sexy. But I love turtlenecks. They're such a staple in my wardrobe, and they go with everything, okay? I love them. They're classic, they're warm, and they're cozy. Next is going to be a leather boot. And let me break this down because this is going to be one of the ones that is relative. For me, in my style, classic means classic, right? But at the same time, you guys know that I love statement jewelry, I love statement shoes, and I like different shaped bags. And then I usually keep my wardrobe pretty streamlined, pretty classic, pretty chic, right? But when I say a leather boot and I say that it's relative, it's going to be relative to what your style is. I will give you the perfect example. A Chelsea boot, right? That's a classic in somebody's closet, right? A flat form, which are very popular right now. That is classic in somebody's wardrobe. That is a staple, right? A riding boot. That's classic, right? A knee-high boot, that's classic, right? It depends on what type of leather boot is classic or is an essential in your closet. So when I say leather boot, I'm trying to keep it open, and I will give you the perfect example. Do you guys remember these? These are my thigh highs from Cult Gaia. I love them because they are black, but to me, these are classic, but I bought them because of the heel. How gorgeous and how different is this heel? Now, to somebody else, this might be a statement, which I would probably say that it is. But for me, when it comes to the shoes in my closet, a lot of them are staples. I have had these for a couple of years now. I always get compliments when I wear them, but they fit seamlessly into my closet, right? To make this a more classic boot, the height is fine. But to make this a more classic boot, somebody else might just say, okay, well, give me, the suede, give me the leather, but then just give me like a regular heel, or give me a block heel, or give me a flat form, right? So just some type of leather boot. And again, since we are talking about classic, let's make sure that we keep the colors classic, right? I just showed you a black pair. Classic for somebody else might be a cognac, might be a brown, or it might be a tan, or it might be a beige. It might even be a white. White shoes have been in for years and seasons now, right? They are considered acceptable now, right? but just some type of leather boot. Once you have gotten the classic out of the way, once you have gotten the staple out of your way and you can wear just about anything in your closet, then you can start moving into different colors and you can start moving into statements if you want. The next essential piece is going to be a leather coat, and just like the trench coat, that one is beyond dirty. I'll have to take it to the cleaner and see what they can do. So I will just pop up pictures right here. But when I'm talking about a leather coat, it could be a leather trench coat, it could be a moto jacket, it could be a blazer. It really just, again, what is classic for your closet? All three of the things that I just mentioned are classics, right? But it depends on what's in your closet. Keep in mind when you are watching these videos, make sure you are tailoring it to your aesthetic and your closet, okay? So I would probably have to say for me, it's not going to be a leather blazer. It would not be like a moto jacket. It would probably have to be like more along the lines of a trench coat, and that's kind of what that jacket is. Like I said, I'm not going to show it to you because it's just dusty. But you've seen it before if you've seen me like at a game or something, like at one of Aiden's games, right? But it's just going to be a leather coat. Now, whether it's pleather, whether it's fake leather, that's completely up to you. They have come out with just so much technology and so many different variations of faux leather that some people are out here actually charging more for faux leather than they are leather. Of course, some people are going to argue and say, well, you're paying for the name. That's neither here nor there. It's just a very classic, beautiful leather coat. Again, remember, we're keeping it very streamlined and we're keeping it classic. So make sure that when you are starting out or if you are building a classic wardrobe, just make sure that you're sticking with the classic colors. And for leather, it's typically going to be a cognac brown or it's going to be a black. Then you can start stepping into different colored leathers, okay? Next is going to be a scarf, and this can mean different things to different people. I do have an example for you. This is the only one in my wardrobe that's currently out. All of the winter and fall stuff is still packed up, but it's just this right here. Of course, this is faux fur. Got this from good old TJ Maxx, so it's a couple of years old, but just like this, you can do it like 2 times, or you can kind of pull it through and just leave it like that. And this thing is so warm, right? But you do have ones where you have like the huge scarf. Basically, it's like a blanket. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You have like the classic Burberry scarf. You also have what was very popular last year and will probably be very popular this year were the Acne sweaters, right? Or the Acne scarves. Some people were even using them kind of like a coat or maybe like a shirt, and they were just kind of like belting them. Again, they were probably using a turtleneck to put on, right? And then they would take this and kind of wear it as a shawl and then just kind of belt it to just kind of give like this classic chic vibe, okay? That is going to be the next essential. It is going to be a scarf. The next closet essential, or the next fall closet essential, is going to be a flat or a ballet flat or some type of a flat shoe. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. There is always like this controversy when it comes to the fashion world, whether or not like round toe flats are in, stylish, fashionable. There are some people who abhor and disdain round toe ballet flats. I will say that I have not bought round toe flats in a very long time. I don't abhor them, but I just think for me personally, for my aesthetic, pointy toe and almond toe fare a little bit better, okay? So I do have 2 examples. The first one is going to be more so of a classic, not a shape, but a classic color. These are from Vivia. You guys know that I love this company because of their sustainability and just how comfortable their shoes truly are, okay? But I love these because of how comfortable they are, because of the color, and because of the pointy toe. They're not so pointy, but they are like the perfect point, I guess you could say, okay? So these definitely would be considered a classic. Now, because of the pattern or the design, it might be not as classic, but because of the color and the shape, these are classic. So remember, we're talking about classic pieces. So once you get your classic ballet flat, you can start getting into more prints. You can start getting into more like of your statement, which you guys have seen before. These are going to be my snake print bow flats, pointy toe again. And these are actually even of a shorter pointy toe than those. These are from J. Crew. I love these, especially when it comes to cheetah and when it comes to snake skin. You will hear a lot of people, especially people in the fashion world, you will hear them say that those 2 prints especially are neutrals, and I do have to agree. But this is something that you would definitely look at or pick up after you have probably gotten maybe like a black pair, a tan pair, or even maybe like a beige pair, okay? Because it does have the pointy toe, it does have the bow, and then it does have, and on the back it actually does have like a suede stripe. And then it does also have like the print, right? Now for me, this goes with a lot in my closet, and funnily enough, I do actually have a J. Crew teepee sweater that matches this that I do wear sometimes together, and it just gives the look a little bit more edge, right? But it's just going to be a flat. Now remember, we talked about boots, and I also spoke about flat forms. That could be considered a flat, right? Now in somebody else's closet, a flat could be considered a Birkenstock. I don't particularly care for Birkenstocks, but if that is your aesthetic, it's also would be considered a flat, right? Because Birkenstocks are flat. Now you might have somebody else who wants to wear like the Birkenstock mule. You also might have somebody who wants to wear the Birkenstock sandal, you know, with socks. Whatever floats your boat. We're just talking about classic pieces, okay? But it is going to be a ballet flat. Okay, so the next fall essential is going to be a long sleeve button up. We know that the sleeveless and the short sleeve button ups are going to be quintessential when it comes to your warmer weather, when it comes to spring, and when it comes to summer. So I do have two examples. The first one you guys have seen before recently, as a matter of fact, in the fall trends video. This is going to be a long sleeve button up from J. Crew, where else? But it has the puff sleeves. You guys know how I feel about puff sleeves at this point. I do have like the sweetheart neckline, and I do also have the off the shoulder, but puff sleeves will probably always be a staple in my closet, right? But it's just this one right here. I would consider this one to be a little bit more casual, okay? And again, remember, we are talking about classic. So for me, classic is more or so white. Somebody else might think that classic or a classic button-up is going to be black. That's still a classic color, right? Somebody else might think that a tan or a beige button-up is going to be classic, okay? And then a dressier version is going to be the exact same thing, or not the exact same thing, but it's going to be from J. Crew, and it's just going to be your classic fit when it comes to a button-up, but in a different material, a shiner material. And this is silk, and this is actually off-white, okay? So this one is a little bit dressier. But it's the same thing, okay? It is your classic long sleeve button up. Okay, so now let's talk about sweaters. I do have two examples. So the first one is going to be a cardigan. We all know what those are. You can do a cardigan by itself, or you can actually do a set. But I do have an example. The first one is going to be an open cardigan or buttonless. I'm not really fond of buttons on my cardigans. As a matter of fact, I don't have that many. This one right here, I also have in blue. Cardigans are very much something that I wear in the house to keep me warm. If you see me leave the house in a sweater, it's typically like a pullover, or it's going to be what else but a turtleneck, okay? But you do have this, and this one is actually quite long and very cozy, okay? But this is the first one. You have your cardigan. You have your open cardigan like this, and you do have your cardigans that have buttons on them. And then you do have the ones that come with a set, right? So it would be the cardigan, and then it would be like the shell on the inside that matches. Okay, and then we have pullovers, as you just heard me say, and there are so many different renditions of pullovers. Let me go ahead and just show you a few that I have, right? So the very first one is going to be a short style TP sweater from J. Crew, right? It's in this beautiful color like this, right? So you have a pullover that can be a short sleeve, right? Then you have another pullover that can be a 3/4 sleeve, right? And I think this is actually a long sleeve one, right? This one is a print. I very much consider this animal print to be a neutral, okay? But this is a long sleeve one. It's also a pullover. And then the actual shoes that I showed you match this. And this is going to be a 3/4 sleeve, or one that hits right at the elbow, right? And this one right here is also a pullover. Again, I would consider this a neutral. And as you heard me say, that I have shoes to match this, okay? Okay, so with those examples, I did give you some classic and I did give you some trendy as far as like the color is concerned. The actual shape of the pink sweater is very classic. The color just depends on what you're looking for. So that could be like my trendy piece. I would probably say for me, the classic piece is going to be the very first animal print that I showed you. Snakeskin for some people tends, depending on how it's curated or how it's placed, can go cheap very quickly, and I do actually agree. But when it comes to cheetah, that to me will always be a neutral, okay? So remember, we are talking about classics. Let's say, for instance, you want to try a long sleeve pullover. That's fine. If you're not used to that, that's fine. It's a very classic look. Try it maybe, not necessarily if you're trying it, not if it's not already in your closet, like if you're not a classic dresser, but you want to try it. Maybe try it in your favorite color. So let's say your favorite color is red. Maybe try just like a red pullover and see how that goes. If you are looking to change your wardrobe, or if you're looking to do a capsule, if you're looking to dress more classic, I would say start again with the classic colors. Your black, your tan, your beige, your off-white, and then start stepping into different colors, okay? But it's going to be just sweaters. You have your pullovers and then you have your cardigan. Okay, the next fall essential is going to be a leather bag. And since we are talking about fall, getting ready to go into winter, let's focus on crossbodies and shoulder bags. So my example, and you guys have seen this before, I haven't so much carried this in the summer. This is definitely more so of a winter bag I have found for this season, right? But this is my Tory Burch Eleanor leather shoulder bag. I guess you could say shoulder bag or crossbody, really. You wear it like this, or you can wear it like that. And if you have been in the community for a while, you would know that I stocked this bag. So I absolutely love this bag, and it is beautifully, beautifully made. But the reason why I say let's focus on crossbody, and even we can focus on the ones that stop right here now, right? That used to be fanny packs. Let's focus on those because it's in the cooler months. And sometimes when it's cool, you don't necessarily want our hands exposed. We want to be able to carry what we need to carry in our purse. And then we want to be able to put our hands with gloves or just in like our coat or our trench coat or our leather coat pockets, right? We want to be warm. It might be a little cool in the morning and at night when we are returning home from work, right? But yeah. Love, 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 love this bag. And again, remember, we're talking about classics, right? You see that this is a very classic color. Again, if you're looking to change your wardrobe, if you're looking to bring your wardrobe a little bit more classic, start with the classic colors, and then you can start going outside of that realm, right? So for bags, I would say that can even be a winter white. It can be this beautiful color, a tan, a beige, a black, a brown, a cognac. And I know for my closet, gray. If you don't know, gray is my favorite color, but I also think that it is a very neutral color, okay? But yes, crossbody bags and shoulder bags. This is what the back looks like, okay? But this is going to be your next fall essential. Okay, the next category is going to be shells, and this is going to be one that is relative to your weather and again, relative to your closet and your aesthetic. But when I'm talking about shells, let's just leave it as a category and then we'll go into the subcategories. When I'm talking about shells, I'm talking about layering pieces, right? As you guys heard me say before, when it comes to fall, especially in a climate where it's going to be cool, warm, cool, layering is going to be your friend. So let me give you a few examples. This one right here is going to be, this is a bodysuit, but I'm showing it to you because it has buttons and it is just a shell, right? It is a bodysuit, like I said, but this is your classic, and I won't say Henley, it's not Henley, it's like a very thick ribbed knit from J. Crew. This is a shell because you can layer this with that leather jacket that I was talking about, with the open cardigan that I was talking about, and with the trench coat, right? This is something that because of where I live and not because it's long sleeve, but because of how thick it is, this is something that I would actually wear from fall into winter. This is too hot to layer right now here in the Carolinas, but for somebody maybe in New York or in New England or in the Midwest, this might be just perfect, right? Layering pieces. So you have short sleeve. This is something that I would layer right now. You have your shell, but it is sleeveless, right? This one is from Target. I've had this for a couple of years. This something for me is something that I would actually wear in the house with probably leggings and then an open cardigan, right? But for somebody else, this might actually work. So for somebody who might be going into the office here in the Carolinas, they might throw this on under a suit or under a blazer, right? So then you have your short sleeve. Well, now you have your short sleeve. This is very much a shell too, with just like a very different neckline. Again, we're talking about layering. This is also from Target, right? Because this is much thinner than the J. Crew one that I showed you, this could be layered right now as well and give you a different neckline, right? So you have your short sleeve. Then again, you have your sleeveless, but it's a little bit thicker. This one is a turtleneck. It is also a bodysuit. This is from Zara, right? This is like one of their sculpting pieces, but I bought it because of the color. But this is something much right now that I'd be able to layer, right? For the morning, then the afternoon, and then back again if I were to travel back home, right? And then the same thing with this one. This one is also sleeveless. It's not spaghetti strap. and it does come up high on the neck, but it's not a turtleneck, right? This is also a bodysuit, right? And because of this is from Forever 21, so this is years old. I haven't bought anything Forever 21 in years. But anyway, I'm showing you this because I consider this a shell, a foundation piece, a layering piece. And because of how thin it is, this is something that I would be able to layer today, right? But when I'm talking about shells, I'm talking about layering. I'm talking about your foundation piece, right? It's the piece that's right next to your body, right next to your bra. And then depending on how cool it is, you might be able to put that cardigan on. And then when it gets warmer, when it's time for you to go to lunch, you can take that off, right? Same thing with the leather jacket and same thing with the trench coat. But your fall essential is going to be shells. The next closet essential, the next fall essential, which is always going to be a staple in my closet, is going to be none other than the pencil skirt, okay? You do have a couple of different lengths when it comes to pencil skirt. You have to the knees and you have midi. I am very much loving midi right now. I'm not going to put mini skirts into this category because a lot of people do not consider mini skirts to be pencil skirts, right? They have different names for that reason. You guys have seen this mini skirt. You guys have seen this pencil skirt 100 times at this point. But it is this gorgeous lilac pencil skirt from J. Crew. It is indeed a midi length. I do also have this in like a cognac brown color. And then right here, it does have a slit, right? Again, when we're talking about the pencil skirt, when we're talking about these classic pieces, where you live is going to really dictate what type of material and when you can wear it. This J. Crew pencil skirt is 100% wool. I cannot wear this right now. By the time, if I was traveling or commuting to work, let's say I have to be to work at 9. By 10:30, if I were to step outside, I would be dying because it's too hot. But again, maybe somewhere in New England or in the Midwest or in Seattle, they would be able to get away with it. This is something that I would very much have to probably start wearing from fall to winter, but I'm just giving you ideas. Right now, I would still be able to get away with like J. Crew's bi-stretch cotton midi pencil skirt. I would still be able to get away with a linen pencil skirt. I would still be able to get away with a viscose. I would still, maybe not viscose, but I would be able to get away with a cotton, right? The weather and how the weather fluctuates in your area is going to dictate some of the pieces and some of the things that your pieces are made of, right? But it's just going to be your classic pencil skirt. I know right now we are still very much in like this 2000 craze, so you might find that if you're looking for a pencil skirt now, it might fall like a little bit below your belly button. It might be like a low-waisted pencil skirt. I don't know about you, but I find as though when it comes to pants and when it comes to just skirts in general, I find that high-waisted looks the most upscale, the most chic, and the most classic. And the last fall essential on this list is going to be a t-shirt. And I kind of feel like t-shirts have always been classic. They have always been, quintessential to a wardrobe. They have always been a staple. But I would probably say like in the last few seasons, t-shirts have kind of like gotten like this new oomph. They've gotten kind of like this new this new resurgence, but more in like of an elevated way. And I kind of feel it's just me personally, like Jacquemus moves, especially like with the crop top that has like the breast cupped with the ties. And then you have, I know there's another one, it was Paco Rabanne that had one that had like a cutout. I kind of feel like the t-shirt is a staple, but depending on your aesthetic can mean different things. You guys know, if you've been a part of this community, I don't wear t-shirts like in public for a fashion statement, or that's not like my aesthetic. So I'm going to give you like my rendition of the classic t-shirt. If I have on a t-shirt, I'm either in bed, it's David's, or I'm doing my hair. Like I don't even just walk around the house in a t-shirt, right? So when we think about, our classic t-shirt, we're thinking about the t-shirt that you might buy from Walmart, Target, whatever. But the very first one that I want to give to you is something that I would consider wearing out. It is from Morona, so that is a Target brand. But it is more so of like a fitted t-shirt with like that jersey knit, and it has a V-neck, right? This is something that I would consider wearing, out and about. Probably not. But this could also be considered a shell and a layering piece, okay? And you guys have probably seen this 100 times by this point now. I even got it tailored. But this is going to be my idea of the classic t-shirt. You guys know that I love off the shoulder. You guys know that I love draping. This to me would be considered a classic t-shirt. But again, remember, when you are going through these videos and when you are listening to people, make sure that when you are taking tips and advice from people, make sure that you are taking it and tailoring it to your closet. For you, you might very well be a very casual girl. And the very first one that I showed you might work for you with the Chelsea boot, with the moto jacket, and with, with the shell that I just showed you. That might work for you. But for someone like me who loves to get dressed up, someone like me who loves fashion, this to me is a t-shirt, right? This to me is a white t-shirt. Yes, it does have the draping, it does have a little bit of shoulder, but this to me is classic, right? This fits my aesthetic. For someone who's a little bit more casual, they might consider this to be a dressed up t-shirt or just a dressy top in general, okay? But just make sure that when you are watching these videos, make sure that you are tailoring the tips and the pieces to your own wardrobe, okay? So before we end this video, I do want to have two honorable mentions because they can be interchangeable. So the very first one is jeans. You guys know that I do not wear pants, so I am not the guru when it comes to jeans. What I will say is that everything that I listed here, take out the pencil skirt and the jeans can be very much interchangeable. Whether it be whitewash, whether it be dark denim. I will say most people think of dark denim more so for dressy occasions or for your fall or your winter months. It can be skinny, it can be boyfriend, it can be cut out, it can be ripped, it can be high-waisted, it can be wide trousers, they can be pleated. Just some type of jean. Anything that I have set on this list, you can wear with jeans. The button-up, the puff sleeve button-up, the dressy one. You can wear, the tank tops, the shells, and the cardigans with jeans, right? And then the next one, which is probably on everybody's classic list, is going to be a blazer. I think blazers are absolutely beautiful, but it's just that for me, I don't have any of them in my closet any longer, because when I was in corporate and when I was going on my contract, or when I actually had to be in office for my contracts, my closet was full of blazers, okay? Full of them. I used to wear a blazer probably, if not every single day, maybe every other day, and I just have wanted, since I'm not in the office anymore, I have wanted to kind of step away from that, okay? So just like I said with the jeans, the blazer is interchangeable with the trench coat, even with the open cardigan, or even with the moto jacket, right? You can take that with the jeans, with a ballet flat, with a crossbody, with a shell, and you're dressed, okay? So let me know in the comments what you think of the list. Let me know if we need to add anything. And in the comments, let me know some of your classic fall pieces. I just want to remind you, here on YouTube, I do upload videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And of course, right here, or right here, or right here, I'll put my Instagram handle. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, you guys. Bye.
We always have it coming.